Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to today's episode of Wednesday. I have no song for Wednesday. Let's get weird, so let's get gay on a Wednesday. In my paperboy hat, hey. It's Wednesday. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Welcome to Wednesday. Getting weird on a Wednesday. We're just going to get gay on a Wednesday, ladies and gentlemen. Why? Because it's not gay. At the end of the day, bars, by the bay, bars, by the way, bars, eating hay, bars, let's get gay. Exclamation point, bars, ladies and gentlemen. A revelation in modern science. A sex therapist insists men can have sex with men and still be 100% straight. This just in. Slick gay guy convinces straight men to have sex with him. I don't knock the hustle. My big concern is someone being so positive that they can say you'll be 100% straight. Not 90%. 100% straight. This just in. You can't be 100% straight. And listen, here's this. Here's my disclaimer, cancel culture. I love the gays. Okay? By the way, eating hay with the gays in the Bay. San Francisco. Bars. We're back at it. Paperboy hat on fleek, ladies and gentlemen. All right? Coming in weird on a Wednesday. I just want to dissect this a bit. This is what is interesting, because then what is the term gay? Which is okay, by the way, still eating hay in the Bay. All day. Flexing now. We're just flexing. Where do we start with this? It's mainly what was funny to me about this is just the confidence of it. Because what it really sounds like to me is a gay guy that's just trying to convince straight guys to sleep with him. And I haven't really dove into this article. I just saw the headline and thought it was funny. I think I saw it in a meme. But it says, a sex therapist has insisted straight men can have sex with other men while remaining completely straight. It's not a gay thing. It's a guy thing. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to 2021, where all the lines are blurred all across the board. And you know what? I'm good with it. We're in the end game now. Welcome to the apocalypse. All rules are off. The only thing we can rely on is gravity, and that this podcast comes out on Monday and Wednesdays. Dr. Joe Court is, according to his website, a leading expert on sex and relationships. He is a board-certified sexologist. Has a doctorate in clinical sexology from the American Academy of Clinical Sexologists. You think that's accredited? That sounds like something they give you at a bootleg DeVry Institute. University of Phoenix online. That's like the step love child of DeVry Institute and Phoenix Online. They had a love child that drank too much Diet Cola. I don't know, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, but this guy is also a licensed clinical social worker. But despite his credentials, he's caused controversy by posting multiple TikToks. Okay, there we are. Claiming that straight men sleeping with other men are not the slightest bit gay. The only thing I have with this, the only thing, you have sex with another man, you at least slightly gay. Listen, I don't care if someone gets weird and is like, Let's just put it in, see what happens. Let's just try it out, man. Everybody gets weird every now and then. We get weird on Wednesdays. If you're going to try this, ladies and gentlemen, do it on a Wednesday. Stay festive with the theme of the podcast. But how are you going to tell me it's not even slightly gay? Like we're just not going to acknowledge that's a little gay, because it's like you have a little bit of rain. It's not a storm. And that's the thing. That's a great analogy, is that, listen, you deal a little, listen, you're not completely gay, but a slight drizzle. We're not talking about Hurricane Katrina here. Okay, we're talking about the whole kit and caboodle. But here, it's slightly gay, right? How are you so nonchalant? It's like, I don't know. It's his confidence, which is kind of a turn on to me, right? This is the kind of guy at a bar, catch me with a couple cocktails in me, might be getting a little cock on the tail, if you know what I'm saying, right? Because then someone says something with enough confidence. Listen, that's why cult leaders are around. You just have some confidence with what you're saying, you'll make people do some shit. They'll be like, you know what? Guess it ain't gay. It is a hole. Hole's got to get filled up. Shit. Jim should be the guy to do it. Okay, maybe he in this article. What I mean is, in general, maybe he clears this up, is what I'm trying to say. What I mean is, in general, men have more transactional sex with one another. In general, women don't. So when men have objectified sex where it's just about the act, it's about getting off. People man-shame him. Court, who is gay himself, oh, okay. He's just trying to open up the dating pool a little bit. I get it. Listen, at the end of the day, by the bay, by the way, eating hay, he's just trying to lay. And that's fine, because he's a guy at the end of this, he's a guy. All right? And I don't know if women know this. Listen, we got some women listeners. I don't know if they know this, but man's number one function in life is usually to get laid. Listen, there's a certain point in your life where you're like, that's the main focus. It's just what it is. And all this is a man that likes men. So why wouldn't he? Dude, men try to convince women they should have sex with them all the time. This is no different, because not every woman wants to sleep with every man, you know? But it doesn't mean those men are not going to at least try to sleep with as many women as they can. It's nature, right? Because women are just like, I'm just really not that into you and blah, blah, blah. You don't seem my type. And he's like, well, let me show you. Like, you know, and men put on this character and they try to be good men and everything. And it's the dance, you know? Guys go to the gym to get in shape, and guys get good jobs because they want to be attractive to the opposite sex. And this man, he's got tired. You know, listen, you go fishing for catfish all the time. You're going to want some trout, okay? You get you some trout. You're going to want you some sea bass. But here's the thing. The sea bass ain't biting with what you're baiting for the trout, all right? You're going to have to make that trout bait enticing. The sea bass is like, hey, I see the hook, and that's kind of gay. And the fisherman's like, hey, this trout bait ain't gay. Try it out. It's actually delicious. And it's not even slightly gay, okay? It's a fish thing. And then the sea bass is like, all right, well, I'll try it once. He caught the fish. Because then he's just going to be like the sea bass is going to wake up and be like, shit, I was caught. And the fisherman's going to take a picture with them. And that's it. He's going to keep fishing. Court, who is gay himself, added, when straight men have sex with men, they're still straight. It doesn't erase heterosexuality any more than when gay. Men have sex with women. They're still gay. It doesn't erase their homosexuality. I mean, that's true, right? This is the thing, is it doesn't really matter who people want to have sex with. I get it. You know, people, you know, want to people want to always be like, well, you shouldn't do it this way and that way. But it's like, hey, be whatever you want. You want to dress up as a fucking mongoose and hunt snakes, do it. That wasn't a gay joke. That's just, some people are into that furry stuff, you know? But you know what the thing is? The men who have sex with women and they're gay, what are you, that greedy? You trying to double dip? Pick a lane, you know? You just get the best of both worlds. You can just do whatever you want. Just the blade of the gay world. Just a day walker. I feed where I need to feed, you know? You're getting high on your own supply. In another TikTok, okay, this is where you can't take this article serious. In another TikTok, the sex therapist added, there's a stigma in male sexual fluidity and male sexual flexibility. These are some new words. I didn't know about male sexual flexibility. Listen, you tell me, hey, Evan, what's up with your male sexual flexibility? And I'm going to be like, it's my hamstrings holding me back. It's my hammies, coach. They're too tight. I'm built like a hobbit that does deadlifts, you know? I got thunder thighs. They inhibit my sexual prowess. There's just stuff I'm not going to be able to do, okay? I don't think flexibility would be in my sex Yelp review, you know? It is what it is. His ideas caused extreme reactions with one commenter, hey, I had a stroke, guys. I had a stroke, all right? I cannot say words. With one commenter telling court he should be in jail. A little extreme. Another person saying, if there was ever the Lord's work, you're doing it. This is liberating. Talk about two extreme comments. That's the internet for you. Listen, this is why your boy is not really on Twitter. Even in Instagram, it bleeds over. Is you get such a spectrum of comments on shit where it's like, to one person, this is the greatest thing they've ever seen, and to another person, it's just death. You know, it's just, they can't believe it. One should be in jail, and then one's doing the Lord's work. You're not going to please everybody, especially if you're on TikTok talking about male sexual flexibility. In other posts, however, Court explained that he wants people to separate identity from behavior. He demonstrated his point by saying that if he never had sex again, he would still be gay. Okay. Straight men can be attracted to the sex act, but not to the man, he said in one TikTok. At the end of the day, a hole's a hole. Listen, you get me alone on an island for 3 years, hole's a hole, you know? You start looking at coconuts different after that time, you know? You're just like, well, shit, it's got coconut oil lubrication built into it. I mean, it was meant for me to try to get in there, you know? It is what it is, ladies and gentlemen. It's a funny take, though. I thought that was hilarious. And it's good, right? That's good that people... I think there is some kind of shame with... and the reason why I talk about this stuff like this is because if you really want people to feel included, you got to be able to make fun of them, okay? The last thing people really want is... At least I think the healthiest thing people should want is to be made fun of. People shouldn't feel like they have to live in bubble wrap. Because you tell someone they can't do something, sometimes it puts that on them. Like a little kid, if you're like, oh, never go do this because you're gonna, not be able, you're gonna get hurt. Like if you tell a little kid not to skateboard enough, you put him in bubble wrap, he's gonna be scared of everything. And he's just like, oh, I can't do that. When really, he can. And I think sometimes when you do that with jokes and making fun of certain topics, you put bubble wrap on those people. Vegans, for example. I have friends who are vegans, okay? This is equivalent to me being like, my best friend's black. He is. Bars. But you have to be able to make fun of people. You have to be able to get made fun of. You have to be able, and that's like real acceptance. That's the thing with guys a lot of times is you have to make fun of things to let people know you care about them. The last thing you want is me not want to even, tell a joke to you, because then it's like, okay, I can't deal with so-and-so. They're too sensitive. And it's either you're too sensitive or you don't understand that this is a way of bonding. you know? And it's like, you got to be able to make jokes about shit. That's what we're getting at, ladies and gentlemen. But this is hilarious. Yeah, there's so much. And that's the thing. Listen, I could tell you some stories about some friends that I know about experimenting. And society has some weird parameters that we put on stuff. Now, listen, at the end of the day, your boy has never experimented. I've never been summoned for that nature. And that's fine. It's just not for me, you know? I got my cup of tea and I stick to it. But there's such a stigma of people that I've known growing up where you hear a story about something they did on some weird night. And then you're just like, everybody treats that person different for this one thing that they were just curious about. And it's so fucking ridiculous. Like, I think in anything, like, it should liberate people to where it's just like, if you're feeling those things, fucking explore it. Why not? But listen, don't make love to another man and say, no, I'm not even slightly gay. Because isn't it just come down to definitions? I think it just comes down to definitions of what we consider gay. Certain acts. But it's like, no, it wasn't not gay. Then we got to figure out some new things, okay? We got to figure out some new things. But we also start getting into weird territory. Weird territory because this is kind of a thing growing in there. So did you guys know Dr. Seuss has been canceled? We're moving on from this doctor. Dr. Seuss, I haven't seen why it was canceled. It was something about, and to think I saw it on Mulberry Street by Dr. Seuss. I don't know what this is. 6 Dr. Seuss books were canceled, including And to Think That I Saw It on Mulberry Street and If I Ran the Zoo will stop being published because of racist and insensitive imagery. These books portray people in ways that are hurtful and wrong. Seizing sales of these books is part of our commitment and our broader plan to ensure Dr. Seuss enterprises. Now, The Cat in the Hat, is that racist? The Cat in the Hat, one of the Seuss's most popular books, has received criticism too, but will continue to be published for now. I had to say cancel The Cat in the Hat, because you know what? Fuck cats. At the end of the day, fuck them. They shouldn't even be on our planet. And that's just how I feel. We need to rewrite that one with the dog in a log. Listen, it's a working title, okay? The Pooch and the Cooch. No. The Dog with a Hog. No, listen. The Canine with a... I don't know. We lost it, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see. I wish I could see the imagery because I just don't know what it is. Racist imagery. Gonna be a weird Google search. I don't see. Oh my. Okay, so we got some Chinese people. It looks like. Okay, so this one says a Chinese boy who eats with sticks, and then it shows a Chinese person eating food with chopsticks. I'm just really trying to, okay, contains numerous caricatures of Asian and black people that incorporate stereotypes that have been criticized as racist. Okay. Huh? If you're telling me that it's because of the Asian people have chopsticks, where the fuck did chopsticks come from? Listen, if there's ever a cartoon written about me and there's buffalo wings, just make sure they're not boneless, okay? Because then that would be racist. All right, that's just racist to me. It's just crazy because I think it's important, right, to have things from the past, and I don't really give two shits about if a Dr. Seuss book is on the shelves or not. Green Eggs and Ham, that was my shit growing up. But it's like, I don't really care. I don't have a dog in the fight if people want to get rid of it or not. But it's like, what is the real issue here? Is it, because I haven't looked into it enough. I really haven't seen enough about it to be like, yeah, that's pretty bad. Maybe there is something that's terrible. But in reality, I don't know what any of this is doing good with eliminating all these things. Like, we're making people, like, these images are going to make people feel terrible. Like, is that what it is? Is that people are so fucking weak that by seeing a cartoon is going to ruin their life? Or is it going to show where we have came from? And I don't want to keep looking this up when I'm talking about this because I'm going to say some shit I don't mean. It's important to know your history. It is. I don't want to get too serious in this episode, especially when we open up the episode with such a crazy segment. But it's like, it's important to know where you came from. It's important to see history so you don't repeat it, and to make sure rather than eliminating things from our history, we need to educate kids on what's wrong with things. If there's something that is racist in Dr. Seuss, it almost would be nice to have in a controlled environment an opportunity to teach a kid about what's wrong with something. You know, it's like this whole cancel culture thing, and it's this virtue signaling of these people. It's become a mob of people who just want to cancel anything that has any kind of offensiveness because it gives relevance to their life. They're on a holy crusade. And I'll tell you right now, it's not the people who actually should be offended by things, the ones who are actually doing the canceling. No mob of all these people are getting together and trying to cancel Dr. Seuss. If they are, I don't know about them. And I feel like the protests and things that are actually valid, it's by the groups that are being offended by them. It's just this weird thing where people get so crazy for a week and they get high off of it. I think cancel culture gives people a high of taking people down, ruining their lives. Obviously, Dr. Seuss, I'm pretty sure Dr. Seuss is dead, right? R.I.P. Yeah. But it gives them a high to ruin someone else's life because they don't agree with it. You see it happening to comedians all the time. You see some shit with Chris D'Elia. He came back and, made an apology letter or video about, him being a shitty guy and, dealing with all these sexual allegations, and everything was consensual and all of that stuff. And people are already starting to try to cancel him again just because he came back. There's been no proof, no evidence, anything like that. And people just want to take him down because of what he represents. And it's like, it's a weird thing. And I think when you start, the bigger thing I'm trying to say is when you start eliminating stuff like this and you want to bubble wrap the entire world and act like all of these things are so harmful to a kid and to society, this is why safe spaces are real. This is why this is like the highest amount of anxiety ever in a generation, is because there's no challenges. We're trying to eliminate the chance of anything happen. So everybody's walking on eggshells because they're made to feel like they're completely fragile. It's a terrible way to live. The best thing that you can do is to experience adversity and have to figure out a way to grow from it, to get stronger from it. And I think that's where you get real skills for life that way. You can't cancel everything. Your problems, you're never going to learn how to deal with problems if you don't face adversity and you don't have to overcome challenges. You can't just go, you cancel problems, they're gone, And there's people who try to do that, who just try to eliminate people from their life and, things that they don't believe in when they're not in the right position. Listen, there's people who have toxic people in their life. You got to remove them. You're gone. You ain't coming back. You canceled. And you got to do that sometimes. But there's a thing of people who are like, if they just deem you as ignorant and they don't look at reality and they don't realize how far from reality they've walked, they just try to remove you. You're ignorant. They try to shut you down. Deplatform you is a big thing. And it's just crazy. And I feel like it's going to make very fragile kids, and it's going to make very uneducated kids, because, man, if we just keep removing things from history and don't keep watch of what is reality and what is important and what are real changes, we're like doomed to repeat everything in a different way. Like, I think there is a real thing of reverse racism of, I remember seeing it and I was like, that's crazy. Is there was a college where they had a black people only library. Like, part of the library was only for black people. And I'm like, this is insane that we've kind of gone so far to now we're creating racism. Like, back in the day when it was like whites only water fountains and shit like that. It was insane. It was terrible. But like, now to go to the point where it's like black only libraries and shit like that, it's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy. I understand the motives of it in the sense of what was trying to be accomplished, but the execution is like, there's no longevity to that. Because what is that? That's separation, That's divisive, as the media likes to say a lot. But I think like real equality is, we just kind of move on from any kind of racial stuff where it's just like you treat people as a human for what they're worth, and your merit is based off of that, not skin color, not what you get because of that, but just who you are in society. And it sounds so stupid because it's so basic, but people want to go so much further and just divide things and not want to be, I hate using this word, inclusive to like the whole picture, if you will. The whole picture being like, we have so many different walks of life in America. And I think equality really is equal opportunity, and not necessarily, well, we need to boost this and we need to push this back, because things just go so far and it's just ridiculous. Like, we do all the wrong things. Rather than creating opportunities for minorities and people who really experience inequality, we cancel Dr. Seuss, rather than doing the hard work of trying to figure out ways that we can educate people who don't have access to it and, help those who really are in need. We change the name of Aunt Jemima and Uncle Ben or whatever it is. I'm like, these are the priority? These name changes? Or was it just low-hanging fruit, doesn't take a lot of effort, and doesn't require actual work? Like, and you get the brownie points from it, that we're on the right side, we're standing with this, Nike puts out this whole, like, racial equality thing. Well, they're still shipping, like, all their shoes from little sweatshops in other countries, It's just so much about the surface and how you look and virtue signaling versus actually creating hard work opportunities and really having a sacrifice to create opportunities for other people. And it's like, everybody just cares. I think that's what irks me the most about this Dr. Seuss shit and, this cancel culture of all these things that are deemed racist. But in reality, it's just people not putting any effort into real change. Like, stop fucking pretending you're about that life when you're not really to actually be part of the change, not put any effort in. It's so easy to tweet about inequality and to virtue signaling. You get so much fucking social brownie points from it, but you don't actually do anything, You're just fucking tweeting. It's like tweeting a workout online. You're like, fucking 100 push-ups, 250 crunches, 80 squats, boom, send. It's like, yeah, but and everybody's like, oh, that's a great workout. And you're like, yeah, I didn't do it, but that's a good workout if you were going to do it, And it's just, it doesn't make any sense. So ridiculous, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry, we get weird on a Wednesday because that's what we do. In other news, ladies and gentlemen, baby. Texas just reopened. Governor Abbott just said, the boys are back in town. Boys are back in town. We don't need no mask on faces. Hey, small business, open up your doors. Bars, ladies and gentlemen. Texas has completely reopened. No mask mandate. And it's pretty interesting. Let me find you the tweet. Governor Abbott tweeted, I just opened, where's this article I was reading? I had the tweet, but it's gone now. He lifted the statewide executive order lifting the mask mandate in Texas and increased the capacity of all businesses and facilities in the state to 100%. He said, with the medical advancement of vaccines and antibody therapeutic drugs, Texas now has the tools to protect Texans from the virus. And some Californians that are going there soon, said Governor Abbott. We must now do more to restore livelihood and normalcy for Texans by opening Texas 100%. Make no mistake, COVID-19 has not disappeared, but it is clear from the recoveries, vaccinations, and reduced hospitalizations and safe practices that Texans are using that state mandates are no longer needed. Today's announcement does not abandon safe practices that Texans have mastered over the past year. Instead, it is a reminder that each person has a role to play in their own personal safety and the safety of others. With this executive order, we are ensuring that all businesses and families in Texas have the freedom to determine their own destiny. Bars, ladies and gentlemen. Bars. Apparently, 5.7 million vaccine shots have been administered to Texans. And apparently, the state is now administering almost 1 million shots each week. By next Wednesday, about 7 million shots will have been administered in Texas. Over half of seniors in Texas will have received a vaccine shot. By the end of March, every senior who wants a vaccine should be able to get one. Listen, I'll be in Texas early April. I'm hitting up those old people's homes, and we're getting weird. I'm spitting in mouths just to test. Be like, y'all got your vaccine? Abbott also noted that Texas has a surplus of personal protective equipment and can perform over 100,000 COVID-19 tests a day. Listen, this is controversial. This is one, I don't think Florida ever really shut down. Florida's wild. But I think this is good, honestly. I know it's controversial, but the truth is, in California at least, there's not a lot of people. There's a lot of people following protocol, but I know of a lot of people who aren't at all. People who are still going to the gym, working out, going out to eat, having parties at home, doing a lot of mixing in close quarters where it is more of an issue, okay? At least when you go out, you know, there's more people are more spread apart and all this stuff. And I think really what we thought the pandemic was going to be in the beginning, it's not that at all. There was a few weeks there where we really thought everybody was going to die. But science is showing otherwise. And while I know there's people with pre-existing conditions and everything like that, for the most part, like the thing is that I don't know what we're supposed to do. Like the people are like, we still need to shut down. We need to do this. We're going to lose half our economy. That's just me spitballing a number out there, like the guy who said 100% not gay. We're going to lose at least half of our economy. And here's the issue. If we open up, like we just think that the government's going to keep printing money and then everybody can just stay hidden, we're going to lose half our businesses. And it's like, we don't know if we would come back from that because it's not like once we do open 100%, the machine just goes right where it was. Now there's businesses not coming back. It's going to take a long time for people to get the steam to move forward with their business. It's not this like quick thing and we're back, ladies and gentlemen. No. And we need to figure out what's the most effective way. What's the balance of not completely ruining our economy versus dealing with COVID-19. And it seems like with the vaccines and the actual death rate, like that's the thing, is a lot of it was political. When you see that something like 90% of the cases went down after the election and it just like is kind of disappearing, it's ridiculous because they're like, oh, we were testing wrong. We had too high of a test, so we were getting too many false positive tests. And it's like, oh, that doesn't seem political at all. And it goes to show you like how ridiculous government overreach is and how terrible they are at their job. Like these blanket statements where they're just like, no, every business has to shut down. We don't want people outside, all this stuff. But it's like, you can't just give a blanket solution to a problem that needs something more profound than that, where it's just like, y'all have to just shut down. Okay, well, what are we supposed to do? It's not our problem, you know? You want people to die, and it's just ridiculous. It's not the way to handle problems. Fuck do I know, though. But it's interesting that Texas is opening up completely. I get if you have people who are at risk that you gotta quarantine, you gotta do the right thing, you gotta be smart. I've had opportunities to go out and do things, and I've been, shutting them down just because I do have people in my life that I got to be around that I just don't want to give COVID to. But once your boy is in Texas, I'm disconnected from everybody, and the party's rocking. You around me, I'll hock a loogie in your mouth, all right? Your boy's getting back to normalcy, all right? We're opening up. We're ready to catch COVID-19. I'm ready to get hurt again. I'm ready to lose my taste and be one of the people who just was like, I just lost my taste for a week, But maybe it'll get me. Maybe I'll be one of those articles on the news about it. And they're like, he was taking Flintstones since Pampers. And COVID-19 turns to black and white, killed him. Just make sure you tell a friend about my podcast if I go from COVID-19. Yeah, well, you can kind of get to know him from his podcast. He says some weird stuff every now and then. Someone with no context listening to this, like if they just jump into this episode, they're like, this guy really likes bars. He loves them. Can't stop saying it. He's kind of got like a tick, But yeah, it's kind of crazy. Texas just reopened everything. And we're going to find out. We're going to find out this next week what happens. Not this next week, this next month, I would say. Next 3 months should tell us a lot. But it's interesting. It's interesting to see. I definitely don't want to be one of these people who are like, we're going to be wearing masks for like 3 to 5 years, like Fauci said. And I'm like, what? Ridiculous, ladies and gentlemen. Ridiculous. But I just want to say, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for the support as always. That's it for this episode. If you haven't, like, comment, subscribe, review the podcast, review it, leave me a review on iTunes, Spotify. It helps with the numbers. It helps gets us bumped up in the charts, and you're just doing the Lord's work. I'm currently working right now with getting more merch and stuff that's more interactive with the podcast. I'm trying to set it up where you guys can send in topics, videos, submissions for the podcast. So it's more of a conversation, and I really like that. Shout out to Garth Brooks. And ladies and gentlemen, I will see you Monday morning. All right. And remember, no matter what, I still love you.